Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Fun English Daily. First of all, we want to share our deepest sympathy and condolences to all the families in both Thailand and Cambodia who lost loved ones during the recent 5 days of border fighting. This is a very sad time for the people of both countries, but now there is also some important and hopeful news. After these difficult days, we are happy to share that Thailand and Cambodia have reached a ceasefire agreement. This means they have agreed to stop fighting. This is a big and positive step. It brings hope for peace and safety in the border areas. In this talk, we will learn more about this difficult time and what the peace agreement means. We will explore why peace is so important and what is being done to keep it. This talk is a great chance for you to listen and learn new words about this important event in the world. Let's explore the story of conflict and the new hope for peace. Chapter 1, The Fight Starts Again. Recently, in July 2025, fighting started again between soldiers from Cambodia and Thailand. This was very sudden and sad. This new conflict happened because of an old problem between the two countries, the border line. They have not fully agreed on where the exact line is, especially in areas around old temples like the famous Ceasefire temple. This problem has caused fights many times before. Reports say that the latest fighting started after a landmine exploded on the border. A landmine is a hidden bomb that can explode when someone steps on it. This explosion hurt 5 Thai soldiers. After this, both sides quickly blamed each other for starting the new fights. Each country said they started it first. The fighting became very serious, very fast. Soldiers used strong guns and big artillery. Artillery are large guns that can shoot far away. There were also reports of rockets being used. The conflict happened in different places along the long border, not only close to the Ceasefire temple. It even spread to other old temples nearby. This new wave of fighting lasted for several days. It caused great sadness. At least 35 people have died from both sides, including soldiers and many civilians, people who are not soldiers. Many more people were injured. This fighting also forced over 270,000 people from both sides of the border to leave their homes and find safety. This reminded everyone that the old border problem is still very real and dangerous for both Cambodia and Thailand. It showed how quickly peace can be lost when old disagreements are not fully solved. Chapter 2, The World calls for ceasefire when fighting starts between countries, especially in a region like Southeast Asia. That is important for global trade and peace. Other countries and international groups quickly become worried. They want the fighting to stop because war causes great suffering and can make the whole region unstable. So when Cambodia and Thailand started fighting again in July 2025, many voices from around the world spoke up asking for peace. One of the most important voices was from the United States. News reports showed that U.S. President Donald Trump himself called the leaders of both Cambodia and Thailand. This was a very direct and strong action from a powerful world leader. President Trump used his influence to push for a ceasefire. He posted messages on his social media, saying that he spoke to the Prime Minister of Cambodia, Hun Manet, and the acting Prime Minister of Thailand, Phumtham Wechayachai. During these phone calls, President Trump strongly asked them to stop the fighting immediately. He told them to choose talking instead of using weapons. He even used a strong message about trade. He said that the United States was dealing with trade agreements with both countries, but he made it clear that America would not make any deal with either country if they are fighting. This was a powerful message telling both Cambodia and Thailand that if they wanted to continue their good economic relations with the U.S., they needed to stop the conflict. This kind of pressure from a major global power is often very effective in pushing countries towards peace. After President Trump's calls, both Cambodia and Thailand showed they were open to talks. Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Man quickly said that his country agreed to an immediate and unconditional ceasefire. This meant Cambodia was ready to stop fighting right away without any special conditions. Thailand, however, showed more careful support. Acting Prime Minister Phumtham Wechayachai thanked President Trump, but said that Thailand agreed in principle to a ceasefire. This meant they agreed with the idea, but they stressed the need for sincere intention from Cambodia. They wanted to make sure Cambodia was truly serious about peace. Other important groups also called for peace. The United Nations UN Security Council held an urgent meeting to discuss the situation. The UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres urged both countries to stop fighting immediately. He said he was deeply concerned about the tragic and unnecessary loss of lives, injuries to civilians, and the damage to homes and infrastructure on both sides. He also asked both governments to hold talks for a peaceful solution. The UN's voice is very important because it represents almost all countries in the world. The regional group ASEAN Association of Southeast Asian Nations, which includes both Cambodia and Thailand, also called for an immediate ceasefire. ASEAN countries always try to solve problems among their members peacefully. Malaysia, which is a current chair of ASEAN, also played a very important role. The Prime Minister of Malaysia, Anwar Ibrahim, offered to mediate, meaning he offered to help both sides talk and find an agreement. This regional effort is very important because neighboring countries often understand the local situation best and have a strong interest in stability. All these international calls and actions showed that the world was watching and wanted the fighting to stop. This strong pressure from outside helped push both Cambodia and Thailand to the negotiating table. Chapter 3 leaders meet for talks following the strong international calls for peace, especially from U.S. President Donald Trump and ASEAN. The leaders of Cambodia and Thailand agreed to meet. This was a very hopeful sign. The meeting took place in Malaysia, a neighboring country and a fellow member of ASEAN. This choice of location showed a desire for a regional solution on Monday, July 28, 2025. The leaders met in Putrajaya, which is the administrative capital of Malaysia. The meeting was held at the official residence of the Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, who played the important role of mediator. This means he helped to lead the talks and find common ground between the two sides. The key people at the meeting were Samdech Pediai Hamane, the Prime Minister of Cambodia, Phumtham Wechayachai, the acting Prime Minister of Thailand. It was a very important meeting because it was the first time the top leaders from both countries sat down together to talk since the new fighting began on July 24th. This direct conversation between the highest leaders is often the best way to solve serious problems. Also present at the meeting were important representatives from other countries, showing the global interest in this peace effort. Reports mentioned that the U.S. Ambassador to Malaysia, Edgar D. Kagan, and the Chinese ambassador to Malaysia, Young Yujing, were also there. Their presence showed that powerful countries like the U.S. and China were supporting the talks and wanted to see a peaceful outcome. The main purpose of the meeting was very clear: to achieve an immediate ceasefire. Cambodia's Prime Minister Hun Manet stated that the goal of the talks was an immediate and unconditional ceasefire. This meant Cambodia wanted to stop fighting right away without any special conditions. This is an important first step to reduce tension and bring back peace. Both sides agreed to start talking again directly between the prime ministers, foreign ministers, and defense ministers. They also agreed to have an informal meeting between Thai Military Region 1 and 2 with Cambodian Military Region 4 and 5 on the morning of July 29th. If they agree, there will be another meeting between the defense officers of both countries, helped by the ASEAN chair. Cambodia and Thailand also agreed to hold a meeting about the border issue on August 4th. Cambodia will host this meeting. Malaysia, the current ASEAN chair, will help organize and watch the meeting to make sure both sides follow the agreement. The foreign and defense ministers of both countries were told to make a clear system to carry out the ceasefire, check progress, and report what happens. This system will help keep peace in the area. The Prime Minister of Malaysia said the meeting in Putrajaya showed that Malaysia, Cambodia, and Thailand all want to follow international law, live peacefully, and work together for a fair and long-lasting solution. Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Manet said the meeting had very good results and gives hope to stop the conflict soon. The fighting has caused many deaths and made over 300,000 people leave their homes. We hope the new plans will help calm the situation, bring back normal talks, and reduce tension between the two armies. He said the Cambodian leader thanked the Malaysian Prime Minister for holding the meeting quickly. He also thanked U.S. President Donald Trump for helping as a mediator with phone calls on July 26 to leaders from both sides. Today's results show Thailand wants peace, but also wants to protect its land and its people. We hope the agreement will work well, with good intentions from both sides, said the acting Prime Minister of Thailand. At the end of the meeting, there was a friendly and happy moment when the Prime Minister of Cambodia and the acting Prime Minister of Thailand shook hands with the host country's Prime Minister. Mr. Anwar Ibrahim of Malaysia, watching the success of the negotiation on the evening of July 28th, is a turning point in the diplomatic history of the two countries. It confirms that diplomacy is the only and most effective way to resolve disputes instead of using violence. It opens up a chance for both sides to talk and understand each other better. Chapter 4: Why Peace is Important. The recent fighting between Cambodia and Thailand, even though it was focused on a border area, had a very large and sad impact. It clearly showed why peace is so important, not just for the two countries, but for the entire region and beyond. Firstly, the most tragic impact was the human cost. News reports confirmed that many people lost their lives. The conflict killed at least 35 people from both sides. This number included not only soldiers, but also many civilians, innocent men, women, and children who were simply living near the border. Many more people were injured. Losing a family member or being hurt in a conflict brings terrible sadness and suffering. Besides deaths and injuries, the fighting also forced a huge number of people to flee their homes. Being displaced means having to leave your home quickly and go to a safer place. More than 270,000 people from both sides of the border had to leave their villages and farms. Many went to temporary shelters or stayed with relatives far from the fighting. Imagine having to leave everything you know, not knowing if you can return or if your home will be safe. This creates a huge humanitarian crisis, needing food, water, and medical help for many people. Many schools and hospitals in border areas had to close, stopping normal life for thousands of families. Secondly, the conflict had a strong economic impact. When there is fighting, businesses cannot work normally. Border crossings, which are important for trade, were closed by Thailand, with only a small exception for Cambodian workers returning home. This stops the flow of goods and people, which hurts businesses in both countries. Trade is very important for economies to grow, and fighting makes trade impossible. It also scares away tourists. Priya Vihar Temple is a beautiful place that many tourists want to visit, bringing money to local communities. When there is fighting, tourists do not feel safe to come, and this hurts the tourism industry. The economic damage from conflict can last for a long time, even after the fighting stops. Thirdly, the fighting created instability in the region. Southeast Asia has been working hard for many years to build peace and economic cooperation through groups like ASEAN. When two member countries fight, it makes the whole region look unstable. This can worry foreign investors who might think twice about putting their money in the region. Regional stability is very important for all countries to grow and develop together. The conflict also created a bad example for other border disputes around the world. Therefore, the ceasefire agreement is not just a small piece of news. It is a vital step towards stopping more suffering. It is about saving lives, allowing people to return to their homes, and letting businesses operate normally again. It is also about keeping the peace and cooperation that the ASEAN region has worked so hard to build. All these reasons highlight why peace, even a fragile one, is so important in this situation. Chapter 5, Moving Forward Challenges and Hope for the Future of the Agreement to hold ceasefire talks. And initial discussions between Cambodia and Thailand are very important steps. But stopping the fighting is only the beginning. The path to lasting peace between the two countries still has many challenges, but also much hope. One main challenge is the unclear border itself. Even after the International Court of Justice ruled that Priya Vihar Temple belonged to Cambodia in 1962, the precise line of the border around the temple and in other areas was not fully agreed upon by both sides. This means that soldiers from both countries sometimes stand very close to each other in disputed areas, which can easily lead to new clashes. Solving this very old problem of drawing a clear and accepted borderline will take a lot of time, patience, and good faith from both sides. It might involve more technical talks about maps and land, and it will need political will from leaders. Another challenge is trust. after periods of fighting, it can be hard for countries to trust each other fully. Both Cambodia and Thailand have accused each other of starting the recent violence and of not being sincere. Rebuilding trust will need both sides to show that they truly want peace and are ready to follow agreements. This means avoiding actions that could make the other side suspicious and being open in discussions. Despite these challenges, there is much hope for the future. Continued dialogue. The fact that leaders met and talked is a strong positive sign. It shows that both sides prefer talking over fighting. Continuing these discussions, even if they are difficult, is the most important way forward. They need to keep their communication channels open at all levels, from top leaders to military commanders on the ground. International support. The strong interest in help from countries like the U.S., China, and Malaysia, as well as groups like the UN and ASEAN, will be very important. These external partners can offer to help mediate more talks, provide technical assistance for border marking, or even offer economic help to encourage peace. Their presence and pressure can help ensure that agreements are kept. Focus on shared benefits. Both Cambodia and Thailand have much to gain from peace. A stable border means more trade, more tourism, and more economic growth for everyone. People living near the border can return to their normal lives, and their children can go to school safely. Leaders on both sides need to focus on these shared benefits to motivate them to find lasting solutions. People's desire for peace. While nationalist feelings can be strong, most ordinary people in both Cambodia and Thailand want to live in peace. They want safety for their families and a chance to work and live without fear. This strong desire for peace from the people can encourage their leaders to find diplomatic ways to solve problems. The ceasefire talks in Malaysia are a very important step. They show a willingness to stop the immediate violence. However, the real work lies ahead, to build a stable and peaceful border for the long term. This will require patience, determination, and a strong commitment from both Cambodia and Thailand to choose peace over conflict. The world is watching and hoping that this new round of talks will lead to a lasting solution for this complex and long-standing dispute. Conclusion: we have traveled through a difficult story today, a story of an old problem that brought new fighting between Cambodia and Thailand. We learned about the historical dispute over the Praya Vire Temple and the border, and how it led to sad violence in July 2025, causing many deaths and displacing thousands of people. But we also heard a hopeful message. The world quickly reacted, and important leaders, including U.S. President Donald Trump, called for an end to the fighting. Regional groups like ASEAN and the UN also urge peace. All these voices help to bring the leaders of Cambodia and Thailand to the negotiating table in Malaysia. The meeting in Malaysia, where Prime Minister Hun Manet of Cambodia and Acting Prime Minister Phumtham Wechayachai of Thailand sat together with international support, was a very important moment. It showed that even after fighting, countries can choose to talk and work toward solutions. While there are still challenges, like fully agreeing on the borderline and rebuilding trust, the discussions for a ceasefire are a vital first step. This event reminds us that peace is very valuable. It requires leaders to be brave and smart, choosing dialogue over conflict. It also shows the power of international cooperation to help countries find peaceful ways to live together. We hope that this ceasefire agreement will be the start of a new chapter for Cambodia and Thailand, a chapter of lasting peace, strong friendship, and shared prosperity for all their people. The journey to full peace may be long, but taking this first step is always the most important.